200 people is so awesome.
All right. There we go. Oops, sorry. There we go.
All right, and this is where we're at for this month, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So, our current life changers so far are already hitting Success Club in the first 4 days of the month. Way to freaking kill it, Ashley Stack. And I thought Monica did also.
No, I'm at SC4 right now, working on it.
Slacker.
I know, such a slacker. What's wrong with me?
No, so we've got Monica at Success Club 4, Heather, Aubrey, Jessie, Krista, Jasmine, and Amy. So all of you only need help. One more person, like freaking awesome, on fire already. And already who have helped one person, well, I guess at least one person, would be Kristen, Rebecca, Morgan, Jessica, Elizabeth, or Liesel / Elizabeth, Tyler, Rachel, Courtney, Kathleen, Whitney, Katrina, Keisha, Sabrina, and Monica. Well, we already said Monica's at 4, so she's just moving herself up the list there. And then volume board, Monica led the group this week in a volume. And you want me to read all these people?
No, you don't have to read everyone. But I forget the total of how many we've helped. I think we've helped like 40 people this month. So you guys, we are only a few days into the month, and start your month strong. Start sending the invites now and loving on people now, so that at the end of the month, you don't feel stressed and then you're inviting for the wrong reasons. You want to have joy in this business. So make sure that you are doing all of the things right now. Quick reminders, the new coach mentorship, if you're a brand new coach, or if you've been a coach for a year or 2 years, if you are at coach rank level, we recommend that you guys jump into the new coach mentorship Facebook group as well as the thread, because we want you guys to do the basics every single day. That's literally how you grow your business, is by doing your business activity tracker, by inviting, by sharing your journey. So as you go through that, if you have to repeat that group 5 times, who the heck cares? You are mastering consistency, and your business is going to grow because of that. So make sure that you reach out to your upline and we get you in that. You can also click the link in the team page. I did post it in there today for that. And then there's a message pod as well for new coaches. That just so you guys know, we have a message pod for each month. So every month we'll just switch it to whatever month that is, and anyone at coach rank will go into that pod. That is a pod that you guys can use anytime you have questions. I know sometimes it's so easy to just want to text your upline or just shoot her a message, but because our team is so big and there's so much going on, it helps if we really use these threads, just so that, like, say I'm busy and with my kids at the moment and Pam's around, Pam can jump on, or say you needed to ask Alex a question, she's with her son at the moment, then we're able to answer it. It just really helps to have these message threads, because you're mixed in with people who know the answers to things, and we all kind of can help each other. Then that way no one has to be on their phone 24/7, and no one's waiting for messages or like to respond to messages. So even if you're in the middle of a conversation, say you're a brand new coach, you're having your first conversation and you're so nervous about it, and you're like, they want more information, what do I do next? If you forget what to do next, ask in that thread. Say, hey, you guys, this is the message I just got. I don't know how to respond. And we will help guide you in there, whoever is around during that time. And it also helps the newer girls in there, because if you have that question, I guarantee we had it at some point, as well as other girls on the team are going to have it. So it also helps for you guys to learn from each other by doing that, as well as in the emerald and the halfway to diamond threads that we have, and the diamond and the star diamond. So they go up by rank, but they also, you're at people with your level. So again, use those threads. When you're showing up, let people know in the threads. If you listen to an awesome podcast, share it in the thread. If you are fired up and you got in an extra half an hour of some personal development that day, like share it in the thread. Use those threads to grow, and also use those threads to ask questions, because it's so much easier on like all of us as a team if everyone's using those threads and really taking advantage of it, so that everyone's seeing the questions and the answers all the time. Tuesday, if you are in the Rise Up Rockstar group, we have a noon training. So if you are in that group, you know what I'm talking about. And we have a noon training. You can grab lunch and be eating during it and jump on live. Tuesday and Thursday, there is 2:00 Eastern work sessions. For any of you guys that are home right now, if your kids are napping, if you have a break in your day and you're able to jump on at 2:00, then jump on. I am leading the one tomorrow at 2:00, and I forget who's leading Thursday. I think MK, but there's one on Thursday as well. And basically what we do is we just lead you through a live work session. It's your entire work day from 2 to 3. And we knock that out with you, giving you tasks and having you set timers so you can really feel confident in what you're doing. Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, new coach kickoff call for any new coaches. That is going to be a time you guys can also ask us any questions you're having, but we go over the basics of what you need to be doing to really kick your business off. Then Friday, we have a 2:00 live happy hour. Share in the chat if you have anyone getting on. I know I already have one person getting on, so I'm super excited for that. We've never done a daytime happy hour, so to be honest, we have no idea if this is going to be something that a lot of people can do or can't, but we figured with so many people home right now, and it's kind of during nap time, that it could be a perfect time for us to have one where people are able to get on. Tonight we are going to talk about vision. So something I have all of my new coaches do, and I believe that everyone is rolling this out into the entire downline. But it's part of the new coach training now, is creating a vision is your number one step in this business. And it's so important because when you guys grow up, when you're little, you are dreaming about princesses and fairy tales. And if someone asks you like, hey, what are you going to be? And you're a little kid, you shoot out answers, doctors, drive an airplane, or fly an airplane, like drive a fire truck, whatever it is that people want to do, they just shoot these answers out. They don't think about it. They don't know and question, like, will I be good at this job? Will I have the schooling for this job? Will I get hired? Like, you're a little kid and all you care about is you're excited about that new job that you're going to do when you're older. So then you start to grow up, and once you hit like junior high and high school, all of a sudden you really start focusing on what you're supposed to be doing. So you start doing the things that you're told to do. You go to your classes when you're told to do it. You go to your sports when you're told to do it. You might still have bad times in high school. I don't know if you guys did. And then a lot of people go to college right after, or if you don't, you go get a job. And it's kind of like you just follow in routine of what you feel you're supposed to be doing. And then you grow up at around 21 and you all of a sudden are in the real world, and you start to realize that everything, and I want you guys to think about this and even share in the chat right now. You start to believe that you are literally like supposed to live in your current situation. So you buy groceries at the places that you can afford groceries. If you buy organic or not organic, it's probably because it's what's cheaper or what you can afford. You buy an apartment or a house or a condo, and it's in your budget. The car that you drive is in your budget, and your monthly payments are something that you can afford. You don't go buy a super expensive car that you're not going to be able to afford the payments on, just like you wouldn't go buy a house that you can't afford the payments on. Where you shop and how often you shop is something that goes along with how much you're making and what your current situation is at. And you base it off of the salary job that you probably have or your husband has. And that is literally how you start to live. And then you figure out what bills you can pay out of what checks and what's left over, and you live on that budget. And something that I realized in this business was we stopped dreaming. Like at some point between being anything we want to be when we're little to growing up, we literally stop dreaming and stop believing that our life can be whatever we want it to be. All of a sudden, like we stop setting goals. We stop having a vision for our life. We stop believing that that dream car that we wanted, we could have. And we look at other people's lives and probably say, I wish I could have that, or I wish I could do that. And we don't stop and think that, why can't I do this? So having that vision, when I started, I had just gotten offered, or I just applied for a job. And you guys, this job was a $30,000 a year job, but it had insurance. So for me, that was huge because I was a single mom, and insurance obviously is something that was awesome to have on a job. And I was able to drop Chloe off at school, and then she would only be with my parents for a few hours, but I was going to have my nights off, and it was salaried. And I didn't care what I was making. I didn't care that I was going to be sitting behind a computer all day, had no idea what I would be doing, and I probably would have hated every second of that. But I just wanted it because I wanted to be home with my daughter. I wanted to be able to go to my family's birthday parties and events going on the weekends. And so that was my goal. And when I had 3 interviews, it was down to me and one other girl. She ended up getting the job, and I was like devastated. You would have thought this job was like the best job, because at the time in my life, I acted like it was a dream job. And when I didn't get it, it like crushed me. And I was not doing Beachbody yet. I actually was in Hobby Lobby, and I was on the phone with my now husband, and he called to see if I'd gotten the call back to know if I got it or not. And I was told him I didn't get it, and I started crying in Hobby Lobby, and I'll never forget it because I literally was in the aisles and I just started crying on the phone, and I was so emotional about this job. And I'm like, no, I didn't get it. And my husband said on the phone, God has a bigger plan for you. And I told him on the phone that day, I don't see what the plan is. Like, I'm not seeing it. And I was angry at him for even saying that to me. I was angry because I didn't see the plan and because I didn't get this $30,000 a year job. Come to find out, in the next few months, Beachbody was going to get introduced into my life, and it was going to change every single part of my life. But I couldn't see it at that point. But what I realized when I look back on that year, that Jessie was dreaming so small, and she didn't have a vision for her life. She wanted to just get something that fit in her current situation. I wanted to be home with my kids. I didn't care if I was in debt the rest of my life. I didn't care that I'd never be able to pay my student loans off. I didn't care that I was struggling to pay my car payments. I didn't care that I wasn't even living on my own yet, because I was just wanting a job that was going to make me salaried at that point. So you have to have a vision for your life, because if you don't, you're not going to be sure why you're showing up in this business. And if you want to show up and you want to be successful in this business, you're going to have hard days. You're going to have days where you are so worn out from being a mom or being a teacher or owning another business, whatever it is. You are going to have days that you feel completely exhausted, and the last thing that you want to do is show up for your business. But that vision that you are reading every single morning is going to be the reminder that what you're showing up for isn't about today. It's not even about tomorrow or this year. It's about the years to come, what you want your life to look like. You literally have $1 million business sitting in front of you. And I know it's probably crazy to think about because we stopped dreaming, but if you could be a millionaire in this business because it's 100% possible, would you treat it like a business? If you could literally build it to something that big, if you could change so many lives and be the healthiest version of you and create this life, would you show up for it right now? If you knew in 4 years you would be making $200,000 a year, or in 6 years you would be a millionaire in the company and you would not have to worry and stress. I know, coming from a personal point of view, me and my husband used to fight about money all the time. And it was a stressor because it was like we always felt like we were paying bills and never having money. And it's something that can really put a toll on your marriage or on your relationship when you're always stressing about it. It's also a stressor when you have kids and you want to be able to do things with them and take them on vacations and you can't afford it. So having freedom is something that comes with this job if you show up and you wait for it to really happen for you while doing the work to get there. So as a new coach, I always ask my new coaches that they take a pen and they take a piece of paper and they just write their vision statement. And I didn't know until a little while into this that people were like, I have no idea what you're actually asking me to write on the vision statement. Like, I don't know what this vision statement or the vision thing is. They understood vision boards, but I never had broke this down. And so I think it's important that we do this every year because I want everyone to totally understand and read it. I read my vision statement every single morning because a vision statement is what is going to drive you in this business. So what you have to first do is stop focusing on how. When you focus on how, you start to create the anxiety when you're like, how can I get out of debt? How can I pay off this bill? How can I do this? How am I going to afford my next month of Shakeology? When I have people ask me like, so would I have to pay Shakeology next month? I'm like, let's get you results the first month and see how you're feeling. Because if you're feeling amazing from this, then next month you're going to find a way to afford it. If you're not feeling good, then you're not going to find a way. It's literally that simple. And we all focus on how for everything instead of focusing on why. And if you start focusing on the why, it's going to open your heart because you're going to emotionally start to have the attachments of why this is something you want to show up for, why this is so important to you, why this matters for your future, why you want to create this life, why you want to create this community. And all of a sudden, it doesn't stress you out. It doesn't cause you anxiety. It doesn't cause you to feel overwhelmed because you know exactly why you're showing up every single day. So if money didn't hold you back and time was not a thing, what would actually be possible in your life? If you had literally nothing holding you back, like you could do anything you wanted to, you could create anything you wanted to, live anywhere you wanted to, what would that look like? And we're going to go through these and then you guys can do them when you guys get off the call tonight or this week. But I really want you to take time. And I also recommend that if you have kids or you have a husband, like TV going, I recommend literally going and sitting in a room and doing it where you can actually get your thoughts on paper because you've probably never done this in your life. And it's a time for you to really figure out what you really want in life and start to dream bigger than just where you're at. And also, if time wasn't a thing, a lot of us base what we do every single day on the time that we have. And we also feel exhausted all of the time. But when you start getting out of bed with a purpose, because you know that if you do these things right now, that in 4 years, your life can be so different, it makes getting out of bed a lot easier. It makes getting out of bed exciting, and you don't hate it as much because you know why you're getting out of bed. And your energy and mindset has to be high to complete this task. So we're going to go over what it looks like when you are planning your vision statement. But something to remember, if you go into this and you're like so angry at the world that day and you're just exhausted and you sit down, you're like, I have to write this stupid vision statement. And that's how you approach it. Your vision is not going to go very well for yourself. So make sure that you are in the right mindset. If you have to go for a walk first to get your thoughts going, if you have to turn on some music to dance a little bit, if you have to like get pumped up after a team call and get fired up and then sit down and write, do that. But don't go into this task without being excited about what you can plan for your future, because you really are in a position that nothing holds you back. Like you are literally in control to become anything you want, to live any sort of life that you want, to create any dream that you have. You have an opportunity to do that right now. You have the same opportunity that someone, Lindsay Matway, who's making $4 million a year in this network, her house was in foreclosure when she had started this business, you guys. Her debt was over $100,000 and she's making $4 million right now a year. But also she has worked her freaking butt off and she had a vision every single day when she showed up. She wasn't sitting and saying, well, I'm so far in debt. How am I going to afford my Shakeology? How am I going to afford a house? How am I going to afford this and that? Instead, she was taking it on herself to dream bigger. She was taking it on herself to know God had a bigger plan for her and that she was going to be something bigger than what she had been. So when you're doing this, I want you guys to think 4 years from now. something that I did that I made the mistake of doing is I said at 4 years, that's when I would become a six-figure earner. And at 4 years, I became a six-figure earner. Had I said 3 years, you guys, I would have done it in 3 years. Because when you are reading it every day and you have the mindset of you're doing this, it does actually happen if you do the work. And I read that vision statement every day. And at 4 years, I became a six-figure earner. And then I looked at it and was like, why did I set my goal for 4 years? Like, why didn't I push myself to do it in 3 years? So many people have done it in 2 years, in 3 years. But I put it in my head at 4 years. So I want to encourage you to dream big when you are writing that vision. Don't dream small, and don't set a goal and say 4 years to become a six-figure earner, because I wish that I would have set that earlier, because I probably would have pushed harder and I would have helped more people and I would have shown up even more because I had that goal and I was determined to hit it. I have failed at so much in my life that with this business, it has been the first time that I literally show up when I say I'm going to show up for these goals, because they're so important to me, because I know that we can change so many lives. I know that our team is on fire, and I know that we have everything that we need to be successful right here. And so showing up is a choice, but it's something that I want to do every single day. It's not forced. It's something that I enjoy doing. So when you think 4 years from now. You want to think about different topics. And I'm going to read you guys my vision statement, what it looks like now, because I have some stuff in there that's kind of like dorky, but it makes sense to me. So things to think about when you are doing this. And I can also screenshot this and send it to you or post it in the team page. So when you guys sit down to do this, if you haven't yet, you can do this. But business. What do you want to do financially with this business? Are you looking to pay off your card payment? Are you looking to start a college fund? Are you looking to have a retirement fund? Are you looking to be debt free? Are you looking to be able to afford your groceries? What are you looking for? And then start to dream bigger, because I don't want your vision to be able to afford groceries in 4 years, because that's not a very big vision. I want you guys to set your goal of doing that this month, of doing that this week. And then from there, keep dreaming bigger. What amount of money do you want in savings? What do you want to be recognized at when we go to events? Do you want to be a 5-star coach? Do you want to be a 10-star coach? Do you want to be a 15-star coach and have 15 diamonds underneath you leading successful teams as well? Things like this sound so stupid, and this business isn't just about rank. But when you look at business goals, it's something, if you have failed like I did at a lot, or maybe not pushed yourself, knowing that I can push myself with this business, I do like recognition, because it's something that I never had in my life at any other job. And it's something that I finally feel like I found my thing. And if I can do this, so can everyone else. So I know when we are popping diamonds and we are all rank advancing, that our team is becoming leaders, and that's what I want. I don't want it to just be me or just be a certain amount of coaches. I want everyone to be rank advancing. I want everyone to be seeing growth in their business. I want everyone to be hitting their goals. So for me, those kind of things also go with the recognition part. What do you want to feel when you're on stage? I literally think about what dress I want to wear when we go 15-star. And it's so stupid, but that vision is something that reminds me what I believe in and what our team can do this year, because I am so centered on it. So then I can help guide everybody else, because I know what we're trying to push for and what we're trying to do. Picture yourself on that stage. How are you going to feel? How is your family going to feel when you're getting recognized? How's your husband going to feel? I remember the first time we went elite and my husband was sitting next to me, and I have literally hit that. And when we got our elite call, those were the two proudest moments I think I've ever felt, because my husband was so proud sitting next to me, and he started to see that this is a real thing. And my daughter was there the first time we got the elite call, and it was our second year, and we were an elite team, and I was so fired up. But my daughter got to see it. She got to be a part of it. She got to cry with me when we got it. And it's something I'll never, ever forget. So those are things that you want to think about. How are you going to feel when you tell your daughter you're leading an elite team and helping other women and other moms become successful? How are you going to feel when you can help your husband with money issues that are happening, or taking your husband on vacation, or taking your kids on a vacation that you couldn't afford before? And what does your workday look like? Think about how it would actually look if you could create pretend, remember, you have nothing holding you back. You have all the time in the world. You have all the money in the world. Like, what does your day look like? And think about it. What would you do when you got out of bed? What's going to bring you the most joy? Are you going to be, and this is something to think about, there's coaches that love this business and work it 8 hours a day. And they have nannies for 8 hours a day, and that's their thing, and they love it. Me personally, I love being a mom. I love what this business does, but I love being a mom. So I get up early, and my dream is to check out of work and then be with my kids. And then during nap time, my dream is to work during nap time and then be with my kids. And then after dinner, it's getting on team calls. And so you want to picture, like, what would your life look like? Do you want to be able to take your kids to classes? Do you want to be able to go to Starbucks with some of your mom friends or your girlfriends or your other coaches and hang out, or go grab a mimosa? Do you want to be able to retire your husband one day? Do you want to be able to just get up and go see your family for the week when you feel like it? Do you want to be able to travel for 2 weeks and not have to worry about being tied down? And then when you get to family, you want to think about, what do you want your family life to look like? So what family like atmosphere do you actually want in your house? Because when you are feeling good inside and you are doing this personal development and you are taking care of yourself and you're doing workouts and you're eating better, you guys, you change as a person. Your energy changes, your smile changes, your patience changes. Everything starts to change for you, and all of a sudden, things that you used to yell at your spouse for or yell at your kids for, you don't anymore. You do probably sometimes, especially if you have a Frankie like my little boy. But you start to have that patience. So what do you want your family life to look like? What are areas in your life that you're looking to improve? Whether it's in your relationship or with your kids or with your friends or your mom or your dad, what does that look like? Where would you be living? Would you be living in South Carolina? Would you be living in Hawaii? Would you be living in Italy? Like, where would you be living if you could live anywhere? Would you live on a beach? Would you live on a lake? Would you overlook a lake? Would you like live on a farm, a huge farm? Micah, who is like our like grandma upline, she lives on a huge farm. So again, creating that vision of what would my dream life look like if I could create however I wanted it to look. What would it look like? What would your family be doing together? Would you would you guys be going to surfing? Would you guys be doing bonfires on the weekends? Would you guys be walking the beach every night? Would you be going on trips all the time? What would it look like? What would you guys be eating? This one is like always on my visions, you guys, for the last 4 years, I swear. I always have things about food, but it's because I truly like love that if we're eating healthier, food makes you feel good. So yes, do I love eating junk food if I could? Yes. But it's funny, the other night I ate ice cream. I haven't ate ice cream in like a while, like real ice cream. And I ate way too much of it. And literally, you guys, I was so sick the next morning. My eyes were so puffy and my face was so swollen and my head hurt, because you really don't feel good when you're not eating the way you should be. And the more you start to pay attention to that kind of stuff, the more you start to realize, like, ice cream is delicious, but I didn't need to eat as much as I did because how it made me feel the next day sucked. So pay attention to how you want to feel, and how do you want your family to feel? How do you want their energy to be? Do you want them to be so full and so bloated and feeling gross that everyone's sitting on the couch and no one wants to do anything other than turn a TV on? Because I know for me, that's something that like I don't want. I want my family to have the energy. I want them to be active. I want them to feel their best. And we have an opportunity to do that. What is the legacy that you want to leave for your kids? Always remember, even if you don't have kids yet, or you aren't planning on having kids, you are leaving a legacy for years to come. What is the legacy that you want to impact the world with? Do you want to impact the world with us that we help so many women that maybe instead of the obesity rates going up the way they are, they start dropping like crazy, and maybe less heart attacks start happening, and less people are getting cancer, and less things are happening, and less people are going on medications? Is that part of your big goal? Because that is like a legit legacy that we get to be a part of. How cool would it be if in years to come, that obesity rates are only projected to go up and up and up? People are only projected to get sicker and sicker and sicker. That's where we are at in this world. If you listen to National Wake Up Call today, Carl even talked about how the obesity rates right now are already up. And to us, we're like, no, we're working out, we're eating good, like we're crushing this quarantine. But a normal person outside of this, junk food is at the highest right now. Alcohol is at the highest right now. And we have a chance to change that. We have a chance to change it for our kids. I go to my daughter's school, her old school, and I used to be able to have lunch whenever we wanted in South Carolina. So once a week, I always went and had lunch with her in her classroom. And every time I went, I always looked around at like what so many kids are eating. And I have a picky eater for little Frankie, but I look around and it's like one of those things that I'm like, wow, it's so different from when like we grew up. Like my parents literally gave me like my vegetables and my fruits, and like my mom cooked all of our meals. But now it's so much like people are so busy that they just, do whatever they can and get by. But like we can change that. We can teach people how to be successful, how to make lunches that your kids will still like, that aren't horrible and too healthy, but also in fun ways. So you guys can change that. You guys can change it for the people that you're working with right now, the teachers that you're working with right now, the nurses that you're working with right now. You can be bringing healthier snacks. You can be showing them how you're packing your lunches for the week and making it super easy when you're working 80 hours a week. These are things that we can literally impact on the world and leave that legacy. So when our kids grow up, they're doing the same thing and helping continue what we've built. Think about what kind of friendships you want in your life, and also what kind of relationships you want. If you're in a spot right now that your marriage isn't the best, then maybe that's something you want to start working on, and you need to start reading every single day in your vision statement that you want a strong marriage and why you want a strong marriage. Maybe you're hanging out with the wrong kind of people and they don't encourage you and they don't push you, but they've been your best friends forever. But maybe you need to be honest right now that you're ready to dream bigger, and you want people in your life that are really going to bring joy to you and that aren't going to be putting you down all the time or making you feel stupid for this coaching thing you just started. Put that in your vision statement so you know when you're connecting with girls on social media, you're not looking for girls that want to start drama. You're not looking for the girls that are all gossipy and into themselves. You're looking for girls that want community. You're looking for girls that want to be a part of what your vision is and be a part of the legacy that you want to build. Also, think about the relationships you have with your kids, relationships you have with your family. Then your body. This is something that you guys should always think about, is what kind of body do you want to have? Do you want to feel strong in your body? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel good in a bathing suit? Do you want to feel good when you just look in the mirror? Do you want to feel like the strongest girl ever? We had CrossFit on the other day, and I was like, I freaking want to look like this one day, because I like always love CrossFit girls, like how much muscle they have. But those kind of things, you guys, remind you that when you're pushing for these goals every single day, when you don't want to show up from your workout, then you start thinking about, how do I want to feel in 4 years? How do I want to look in a couple of months? How do I want to teach my kids how to feel? How do I want to feel when I go out on a date with my husband? Because there's nothing worse than feeling so insecure in your own body that you don't even want to go out on a date with your husband. Or you don't even want to go see your friends because you're not feeling like you're pretty enough. You deserve to feel pretty enough. But if you are continuously eating all horrible things for your body and not taking care of yourself and not working out and not doing personal development, you're not going to be the best version of yourself, and you deserve that. Not even for the business, you just deserve that in life all the time. Your relationship, and in relationships also, this ties in with your body. If you are feeling like crap every day and you're not feeling confident and you're not feeling pretty enough and stuff, I also truly believe that comes off in your relationships as well, because you're not in a good mindset, and you have to be in a good mindset to have good relationships. What is the relationship you want to have with your spouse, and then also with your kids? Oh, sorry, friends and relationships. I broke that one up on here. And then what hobby do you want to have? Or if there's more than one, then what hobbies do you want to take up? Do you want to start skateboarding all the time? Do you want to have time to go surfboarding all the time? Do you want to go ride horses whenever you can? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to have a podcast? What are things that are important to you that you have never thought about doing, or maybe you like thought about it but always stopped thinking about it right away because you're like, well, I could never do that. We don't have the money to do that, or I'm not good enough to do that, or I don't look a certain way so I couldn't do that. What are the things that you would love to do? If you could create just your perfect day, what's that going to look like? And then also something that I want you guys to always think about is, how can you give back to help other people? This is something that is so important, because even the littlest things go such a far way. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen, but it was actually during this quarantine, I sent money to my cousin works at a hospital. So I sent money for their nurses. They were doing something. And Venmo literally sent us $20 back. Like, I got a message. I was so confused, but they sent a message, and you might have seen this because I know they've done it for other people, but they sent us a message. And because they saw that I gave it to hospitals, like that hospital, and to help the nurses, they literally rewarded you and gave you $20 back. And it was such, like, it's so stupid, but I was like, wow, Venmo, that's like so nice to do something like that, because they don't know me. And they literally do that. Every time I go to Starbucks, I do not drink Starbucks often, but my daughter likes Starbucks. So we try to go, especially right now, once like every week, just to get her out of the house and do the drive-through. And every time we go, I pay for the car behind me, not because I have to, but because I know that whatever that person's life might be going on, they're going to feel a little bit better. They're going to smile a little bit better, and they're going to be like, hey, maybe this world doesn't suck so much. When you're walking down the street, a simple hello to people, a simple hi, how are you? How's your day? Like, do those kind of things, because this business isn't just about fitness and health. This business isn't just about people getting healthy. This business is about impacting the world and showing the world that we don't all have to be jerks to each other, that we can be nice humans, that we can be supportive and loving. We walked out of a restaurant one time, and our grandma coach, Micah, had a pizza. We had just gone to an Italian restaurant, and she had leftovers, so she was carrying like this pizza, and there was a homeless guy on the street. And she walked by, and then she turned around and she handed this homeless guy her pizza. And when she did that, I literally will never forget that moment, but it was such a reminder of something so little. Like, she could have thrown that pizza in her fridge. She could have ate it that night or the next day. We were in the hotel for the weekend, but she just handed it to this homeless guy. And that little thing was like, made me realize these are the people I want to hang out with. I want to hang out with the people that stop and hand the pizza to a homeless guy, that stop and do something for someone else just because they want to be a nice human. They're not getting anything back for it. They just want to be a nice human and help other people see good. So think about things that you might want to give back to. Would you want to help kids in Africa or another country, or even help homeless kids in your area? Help foster kids? Would you want to help kids there's so many programs for starving children. I know Feed My Starving Children is something that me and Chloe used to do all the time here. And when we moved to South Carolina, they didn't have it. And now that we're back, I'm like so excited to start doing that, because I love having her give back. I love being able to go and give money, and her pack and me pack, and us do that together, because I want her to realize people don't have what we have. And that in other countries, these little bags of food are getting entire families fed when we're all throwing away food constantly all the time and taking it for granted. So what are the kind of things that you would want to give back to? If you had $1 million right now, would you help your mom and dad? Is there someone in your family that's super struggling and you would love to do something special for them? Would you help them pay off their debt? Would you, like I said, help homeless people? Would you do more for your church? Would you go on more mission trips? Something that we want to start doing, that's been on my vision statement, is going on mission trips, because I think it's so important for like me and my husband to be doing that with church, and as well as bringing Chloe when she's old enough and Frankie once he's old enough. Because again, I want them to be in the mindset of we give back to other people and we go out of our way for other people. Those are the things, you guys, that drive me to get out of bed. Those are the things, when I read my vision statement, are the things that really matter to me and are going to push me on days I don't want to show up. And the power of vision is reading it every single day. So if you get off the call tonight or tomorrow and you sit down and you're like, all right, I'm really going to write my vision statement out. I haven't done this and it's really important. Even if you think it's lame, I don't care. I still would love, love, love for you guys to do it. But I want you to sit down and start to write your vision statement. But then if you just stick it in a cabinet and you never look at it again, I'll tell you right now, in 4 years, your vision statement is going to be probably exactly the same. And it's not going to be any closer to you getting there. The vision statement only works if you are reading it every single day. I do not go a day, even when I am traveling, my vision statement goes with me no matter where I'm traveling, if it's with friends, if it's with family, if it's for work. I read my vision statement every single day. And it's because I have to know why I'm living, so that I'm living on purpose, that I'm not living just exhausted all day long, that I'm not living and being like, gosh, I got up this morning and now I'm so irritated because I'm so tired and my kids are annoying me and blah, blah, blah. Like, I want to know the life I want to live. If I want a good relationship with my husband, I have to read that all the time, because guess what? You're going to get annoyed with each other. You're with each other all the time. If I want to have a good relationship with my kids, I want to know what that relationship looks like, because when I read that in the morning, then it helps me parent during the day. Those are the things that are going to help drive you. So I just wanted to read, I won't read the whole thing because that'd be annoying, but I'll read to you guys what my vision statement looks like so you guys can kind of see how I do it. And it probably, like I said, won't make sense to some of you guys for some of this, but it's things that make sense to me. And some of the things are for right now. Some of the things are down the road that we're thinking. But also some of the things are very small. They're just little tiny goals that mean something to me. So in 5 years from now, I want to have the strongest marriage I can have. I want to be leading a huge team in the Lord's name. Every day I want to wake up with a purpose and joy, that I have the opportunity to give women with something like this and let them know that they can do it too. I want our kids to be so healthy and so proud of everything that we are doing. I want them to feel so much love in our household. I want my husband to know he is my everything, and I want to welcome another baby into our home. I want to give women so much worth, strength, and belief that they are worthy of all God's blessings. I want our team to see so much growth and represent that anything is possible when you are on a team like ours. I want women to feel so confident and proud and secure in who they are, knowing they're worthy of all God has made them. I want to be able to go into a Whole Foods and buy all the best and healthy ingredients for my family. I want our home to be a place of faith, hope, love, and unstoppable dreams. I want to travel whenever, just get on a plane and go, romantic getaways with my husband and all the family trips to build memories. I want to host retreats where my team feels the Lord's presence, hope, and love, and I want them to know we are like family. I want our kitchen to be an open kitchen, and again, this is something that's so stupid, and you guys, I literally get emotional every morning when I read this as I'm like already crying, but it's stuff that like to you guys might be like, cool, this is stupid, but it really means a lot to me. So this part though, I want our kitchen to be an open kitchen with a place for family talks and our kids to bring friends home and have and feel our have family talks with their friends, and fuel our bodies with food that makes them feel good. Again, that is something that's so stupid, but I've always imagined like having an open kitchen, and I've always imagined my kids being able to come home. And I came from a family of 6, and we were all together all the time, and I don't want 6 kids, but I do want more kids, and I want them to just feel love and joy. And my daughter last year had her 3 best friends, all of their parents got divorced in the same year. And it was hard. It was hard because those kids slept at our house every single Saturday. We had allowed them to sleep over, and we always did pizza and salads and cooked them breakfast in the morning. And we were very, very close to these kids for the last 3 years in South Carolina. And then we also had to watch these families go through these divorces and how hard it was on them. And in that moment was also when, in my vision statement from last year, this is the one from this year, that I realized having my daughter's friends at our house was such an important part to me, because I want kids to see a strong marriage. And sometimes when I want to kill my husband, I remind myself that I want my daughter and her kid and her friends to look at us for guidance, to know that marriages can work, to know that relationships can be good, to know that how I should be respectful to him and he should be respectful to me. And I wanted them to feel safe in our home. And so us having them over and having this open kitchen was like something I always pictured, because in South Carolina, we had a small little kitchen and it was not open. And we would literally all sit around a little four-person table. And I always just wanted it to be like a bigger open thing. So it's something to you guys that probably sounds stupid, but to me, it's like something that I can't wait for, just because it excites me. I want to inspire the world and the future of our kids, that there is still good in the world, that every day is a blessing. I want us to own a beach house where we get to go on getaways and shut off, walks on the beach and early morning sunrises with our kids. I want to stand on the stage feeling all the emotions that my team, the people who believed in me, have changed so many lives. We are officially a top 10, 15-star diamond team. I want top 10 to represent every single one of them changing their life. I want to feel the tears and see the tears in my family's face, knowing where I was, but where I have come now. And when I write that in mind, you guys, my mom just handed me a letter when I moved home. She found something I wrote to her, and you guys all know I used to be a huge drunk. And it was like really bad and really embarrassing, and I hate it, but that's part of my life, and it's how I got to where I am today. But I wrote my mom a letter, and I was like a grown adult. Like I had Chloe at this point, and I wrote this letter, and it was apologizing to her for getting really, really drunk. We don't know what I did, but I wrote her a huge letter, and I was probably like 24 at the time, apologizing, saying like how I felt I had no confidence and how crappy I felt about myself, and that I just like don't believe in myself at all. And this letter, literally, when my mom gave it to me, we both cried, because it was crazy to see that like that girl that wrote that letter, who was literally drinking just to feel secure in situations and just to feel like she was a good person, is the same girl that is right here now. And so for me, like everything that we do in this business, when I got off team calls, like I love going downstairs, and because we're living with them right now, and telling my mom like, our team is so on fire. And I'm so excited. When everyone sat and did the whys at our retreat, I went downstairs after and I cried with my mom and just said like, I just feel like we have such a good community, and this is where we're supposed to be. And I feel like God really wanted us here and these people on our team. So little things like that are something that I read every day, but then it also makes me envision what I want our team to look like and the people. So when I'm connecting with girls, I don't want just anybody on my team. Just because you want to be on the team doesn't mean I want you on the team, but I want certain people, and I want people that have the vision that align with mine, that want to make the world better, and that want to believe, and that want to cry together and want to pray together and push each other. I want Chloe to know she's the most amazing, beautiful, strong little gift from God.
Random
And my son to know that
Facebook.
I want our marriage to be so represented in the Lord's plan that we help other couples too. I want my parents to be debt-free because of the money that we have coming in. I want to give money to those who are struggling, and I want to be able to attend mission trips every year with our family. Finding the Lord and connecting with the Lord. I want to read the Bible as a family, which is something we are actually in the process of doing. We read it with my daughter right now every single night. And I want to learn patience and the power of slowing down, being fully in the moment. I want to have the energy to play with my kids and my grandkids. I want to travel the world with my family, and I want them to know that anything is possible. I'm going to stop there because there's still 3 more pages, but I don't want to annoy you guys. But I want you guys to understand that your vision statement, if you woke up every single morning and you read something like that, and it was your goals and it was your future and it was what you truly had your whole heart in and the dreams that you pictured, you're gonna show up for yourself. Because if you don't, like, you're not creating all of these things that can happen. And if you don't know the kind of girls you want on your team, or you don't know the kind of community you want, then you're kind of just winging it. And you're like, yes, be a part of my team. I have no freaking clue like what we do, but it's so cool. Like, you should do it too. When I invite people to this, like, I know why I want to invite them. So I'm not scared to invite anyone. I'm not nervous if they say no, or nervous if they say yes. I'm not nervous if they judge me because of the invite. It's not because I don't get no's. It's not because I think that I'm above anything else. It's because I know if they say yes, this can change their life. And I know that I'm inviting them because of what I believe this can do for their life. And I read it every single day, no matter what. There's no day that ever goes by that I don't read it. And I truly believe that if you guys all start reading your vision statement, like, start your day with that. I know it's so easy to be like, okay, I got to go straight to inviting because I want to hit Success Club and I want to go diamond and I want to do this. But if you have no vision for why you're doing this, you're not going to get to your goals. You're not going to create a vision that you love. And if you're hating what you're doing, it's because you don't have a vision. Because then those tasks, those daily tasks that we do, feel like a drag.
We got
Feel
the whole apartment looking so good, and then like.
Did you guys have any questions on like what a vision statement looks like? Did that make sense for everybody? And show of hands, who actually has a vision statement that they're reading every day? Don't lie. And I know Alex does. I'm like, the one person I know for sure. I did, and I knew Pam. And actually, you guys, Pam, I used to tell her to do this, and she thought it was really stupid because I'm being honest. I know that sounds weird, but she finally did it, and she cried when she did it because all of a sudden she was like, wait, this is really powerful when it's like, mine is not going to make you guys cry, but your own is going to make you cry, and it's also going to fire you up. But it took Pam a while, and now she started doing it, and it makes such a difference because you start to get excited about what can happen and what your future can be like. Any other, okay, so you guys are all this week gonna write your vision statements, and if you're feeling daring, I would absolutely love for you guys to share them in the team page as you guys do it, or share them in the chats, because I love just reading other people's and knowing your vision, but you do not have to if it's like stuff you don't want to. But think about any areas you can improve. It should not, your vision statement should not just be business, because that's not going to drive you all the time. And if there's areas in your life where you're struggling physically or mentally, like, talk about it in your vision statement. So you read it every day and you remind yourself why you're showing up. The first year with my vision statement, I didn't have one my first year, I'll be honest. And also, I was not a good leader my first year. And then from there, when I started to have a vision statement, like now I can tell that I'm a different leader because of it. And it's not just a joke, but also you'll start to really believe all these things. And when I had to write in my vision statement, like, I'm a good leader and I can do this and I'm not going to give up. And it sounds stupid, but during the stages where I needed to hear that and read that every day, that made me feel like, oh, I am a good leader. Oh, I am going to keep going. I'm not giving up this time. I failed at everything, and this is something that I really want for myself and my family. I'm going to keep going. So think about where you're at and things that you need to improve. Put it in your vision statement so that you read it and it encourages you, whether it's your fitness journey, your health journey, your stuff with your family. It encourages you to be better. That's why I'm being patient, because I was like, I'm not always patient with my kids, if I'm being honest, especially my son. Any other questions?
Jesse, I was just going to say, I know, and I like literally didn't write a vision statement until like maybe this year. So when she says I waited a long time, it's been almost 5 years. But I know one thing that like I think was a mind block for me. I'm a very organized, like type A person. And I felt like this was so big and so overwhelming that it was like I didn't even know where to start. And I was like, I have my Rise Up book, and I was like, if I start writing my vision at the beginning of the vision page and then it doesn't turn out to be my vision, and then I have unorganized thoughts on the paper, like this is how I like talk myself into not writing a vision for so long. And literally one day I was like, I'm just going to literally start writing. And I just started writing words, and I have like almost 4 pages now of my vision, and it's a hot mess. I mean, it's like all over the place. Like I talk about business and then my relationship with my husband and then work. And I mean, it's like all over the place, but it makes sense in your own brain. It would make no sense to anyone else, like Jesse was saying, even those yours made sense, I feel like. So don't be afraid to just like start writing. Like it doesn't have to be organized. Trust me, this was very hard for me to get over. But just start writing and let it just like flow out of you.
And you can also ask your spouse, like sit down and say like, hey, like if you are saying in your vision statement, you want a beach house and your husband he wants a lake house, that's something you guys got to work through, because you don't want to. I literally told my husband at the beginning of this year, like we need to decide if we want to have a beach house with our kids one day or a lake house. Cause I can't be reading it in my vision statement every day if we're not sure, because then it's confusing me. And it's like, I don't really want this. I kind of want it. So talk to your spouse too, like see what their life looks like, because I guarantee your spouse also is thinking right now. He's judging everything off of right now. He's not thinking about any dreams or huge goals or like, hey, if I didn't have to work, like, have you guys actually asked your spouses like, hey, if you didn't have to work and we could do this together, would you want to? Or would you want to own a different business if we could retire you and you could do anything? Think about all of those different things and have that conversation, because it also helps you and your significant other like dream bigger and see that there's more to life than what you're currently at. Cool. All right, we're gonna get a boomerang. Anyone have anything you guys can add? Anything? No?
I kind of want to say something.
Well, good, because I actually was gonna call on you and ask if you had a vision statement.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have a vision statement. I have like little vision bubbles, kind of like Pam, where I'm like, oh, I want this one day. And I do a lot of chicken scratch, because this is what I was going to say. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in somebody else's vision statement. So like, I know especially on this team, it's easy to see there are a lot of moms, and a lot of them are like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, I want to help my kids get through the day. I want to pack their lunches. And that's part of my vision statement, but not for like 10 years, because I don't want kids right now. So having to kind of understand that my vision statement is a total different path and not even relatable at all to somebody else, that's okay. Because just like Jesse was saying, like, this is going to drive you. It's not supposed to motivate the team or, whoever else is following you. Like, this is for you. And then you are motivating other people to figure out what is for them. So don't be afraid to let your mind like wander for you.
And yeah, if you put things on your vision statement that aren't in line with yours, it's not going to empower you. So no, if you don't, like, you have to really be honest with yourself and do it for you. Even my coach, Ashley, like one of her dreams was to be able to own the B brand, which she created. But like me, I'm like, there's no way I would want to own another thing right now. Like, I'm so okay with just this business and just being a mom that I don't want another thing on my plate. So you really do have to be clear. Like, what do I want to do? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to horseback ride all day for 5 hours a day? There was actually someone one time I was on a call, and their vision statement was to actually go on like long horseback rides, like around states, like a huge trip thing. So it's just funny because again, everyone's going to look different. So just think about like what would your life look like? And it's actually fun to do it. And I love reading that. I cry every morning, and it's like important to me. And I love that my daughter knows my vision, and she writes a vision statement as well. So something you can pass on to your kids. All right, let's get, and we're just going to record because there's so many people on, which is so exciting. New coaches, don't forget on Wednesday, you guys have a call.
Are we going now? Are we supposed to be smiling?
Will